what's up? It's JD. Don't mind the morning hair. And yes, I'm still wearing the same shirt from yesterday too, but it's only 8 a.m. So all that's going to change soon. We've got a really important video for you today. Coming from my dear brother J.S. Garrett. He has some things to get off of his chest. He has some things that he needs to reveal to you regarding some things that had transpired both in his personal and business life, which has a lot to do with this magical community overall and could affect each and every one of you that are a part of this community. So, this is something that I've been privy to since March, I would say. It's something that has greatly affected my personal life also. Because I was very invested in and deeply cared for this person too, which has just left me confused, hurt, sad, hurt, very, very hurt. I'm very hurt. And it's not JS's fault by any means. When these kind of things in life happen, all you can say is like, what the, and try to pick up the pieces and move on. And that's what we're all doing here. I wish everyone the best. Some people can make some really stupid decisions sometimes, depending on where they're at in life. And I hope that's what this boils down to with this individual that we're going to be talking about, or that JS is going to be talking about here in a moment. I ask that you watch this video with an open mind. I'm sure that I will be talking more about this here and there too. It's not my business, but at the same time it is. And I was subsequently involved prior to all of this transpiring, to a certain degree. So, like I said, it did have a personal effect on me and my life, and my family's life too. It wasn't just a one-off little event. This was kind of an orchestrated, calculated, crazy move on a lot of different things and people. And there was a lot of potential for it to be a lot worse, like, fuck. So thank the spirits for bringing things to light when they did, and causing him to make that move like he did when he did. Timing is everything in many cases. I love you all. Please check out JS's website. He and I are going to be recording a podcast Sunday night, which is tomorrow night, for the group right coming up on the 30th. You do not want to miss that. This is the second full moon of August. This is the super blue sturgeon moon. It is the most powerful manifestation source and tool of this entire year astrologically. You don't want to miss that one. It's going to be huge. Like I was saying in my video the other day, this full moon on the 30th can literally assist you to make a quantum leap in your life that will set the stage for the next 10 to 15 years. And that's what I'm going for, baby. Anyways, enjoy this video. Thank you, JS, for making it. Don't forget to subscribe to his channel, JS Garrett, on YouTube, and check out his website, jsgarrett.net, for all of his services. Love you, brother. Love you all out there. Love all our channel members and everybody else too. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
All right. What's up, guys? JS Garrett here. It's been a minute since y'all have heard from me, especially on this channel. It's been one of the most difficult videos I've ever had to make because it entails me admitting to a great many mistakes that I've made in my own personal judgment and in business. So, first of all, I want to announce the good news that I have a new website that I've just launched called jsgarrett.net. It's essentially the exact same website that was jsgarrett.com that I had 3 years ago. And the same website that was Lawless Metaphysics that I created and started 2.5 years ago. So the number one question that I've been getting from people recently, especially clients that have my contact information still, is what the hell happened to Lawless Metaphysics? You were going strong, you started this new business, you built it up, and then all of a sudden, boom, what happened? So I'll tell you guys what happened. And I had hoped to avoid making this video, but I really see no other way around it other than to tell you guys the truth of what happened and what is currently going on. So we'll go back to the beginning. 3 years ago, I had my website, jsgarrett.com. I started this website with my ex-wife, and we built this website up to be very large and very successful. Neither one of us had to work a regular job or do anything else. It was that successful. So, towards the end of that business venture, one of my long-term clients, one of my very first clients, I've been doing this for almost a decade now, so I've known this guy for about 7 years, named Rook Douglas. He sent me two really nice handmade grimoires in the mail. Handmade books that he had made, blank books that were designed to be handwritten grimoires, as a gift, as a business gift. Like, thank you, bro. I've gotten such great results from the rituals that you've done for me that I wanted to send you a gift. I make these books, by hand. They're top quality, and they are top quality, or they were. Then he tells me that he wants to, that he's moving to North Carolina, therefore coming through Georgia where I live, and really would love to stop by and have a beer with J.S. Garrett. I'm like, all right, yeah, man, cool, sure thing. So I give him my address. He shows up at my house. We go have a beer. We hang out. I introduce him to the family. He seemed like a cool guy. He was very good at being overly respectful, overly considerate, overly empathetic. The type of behavior that would cause most people to trust someone. All right, and so after hanging out for a couple of days, living in a hotel, he comes to me and he tells me, like, something awful's happened to me. I spent the last of my money on an apartment in North Carolina, and that has recently fallen through. It appears it was fraudulent, and I'm not getting that deposit and that first month's rent back. So that's left me almost broke with nowhere to go. I'm currently living out of my car. Can you please help me? So I talked to my wife about it, and I left the decision up to her. She then told him that he was welcome to sleep on our couch until he could get back on his feet and get an apartment secured. And in the meantime, he came to me and told me that his dream was to learn how to practice the type of magic that I practice. His dream was to learn how to perform ritual magic and one day do it professionally, and begged me to take him on as my personal apprentice, something I've never done before. First of all, I don't like to take on apprentices, and even though I agreed to do so, I never called him my apprentice or treated him like a subordinate. I was like, okay, man, if you want to learn how to do what I do, if you want to learn how to practice ritual magic at this level, I'm out here in the circle doing it every freaking night. You can be out there with me, and I will teach you how to do it. All right, and so he did. He did exactly that. He ended up staying here for 6 months, and every single night that I was out there, he was out there with me, learning how to do these rituals, operating my camera, and observing everything that I did. So then the unthinkable happened. My ex-wife left me. She scheduled me 4 days off and said, you and your friend Rook should go on a trip to visit your buddy JD, And so I did. Took a road trip, went and visited my friends, came home to an empty house. Came home to an empty fucking house. And an empty bank account. Not only did she take all of the money that I had saved up and stashed away, both the cash that was in my house, but the cash that was in our accounts, which was quite a bit of money at that point because my business was very successful. Then she crashed my website and went on a campaign to destroy my reputation. Went full on Amber Heard on my ass, calling me an abuser and a narcissist and every other buzzword that you can think of in mainstream cancel culture to try to make me look and sound like a bad person. So that left me devastated. That completely destroyed me. Not because it took all the money I had, but because it broke my heart and destroyed my fucking soul. Okay? So then Rook and I were stuck together. We were stuck together. He had no money and nowhere to go. I had a home and I had enough money to support us. So we became dependent on each other. I depended on him to help me with the technological aspect of rebuilding my business, and he depended on me for someone to feed him and put a roof over his head. So we quickly developed a partnership based on that necessity. Caught me at the lowest point in my life. So we decided to build a business together. We decided to team up. I had trained him in my personal brand of magic and taught him how to perform sacrificial rites. And we said, you know what, let's start fresh, man. Let's start a brand new business. Decided to call it Lawless Metaphysics. Started a brand new YouTube channel, built a brand new website, and kicked that shit off. And we were rocking and rolling for the most part. It was a slow start, but it took a little bit of time, but we built that business up to be successful. I was going through a divorce at the time, so we decided that it was best to put the business in his name. Agreeing that it was my business, but we were going to put it in his name in order to keep me from losing that business in the divorce. And we had agreed that once my divorce was final, that he would sign that business back over to me because it was mine. I built it. I was Lawless Metaphysics. So 2 years later, my divorce is final. I'm like, all right, man, it's time to sign it back over. It's like, well, it's the end of the year. We need to do taxes first. I can't sign the business over to you while we're doing taxes. That'll fuck everything up. I'm like, all right, yeah, that makes sense, bro. So, after we're done doing taxes this year, we agreed that we would sign it back over to me. Well, that was never his plan. His plan was to steal that business from me and take my client base for himself. So I started noticing red flags about 6 months ago. I started noticing what I would call rapey behavior from this person. He put on a good show, did a good job convincing me he was a good person, but you can only keep up an act like that for so long. So after the third woman came to me and told me, don't ever leave me alone with this guy in your house, he creeps me the fuck out, I started to pay closer attention. Then I started to see things on the internet, on YouTube and TikTok, stating that this man was not only a pedophile, but an incestuous pedophile who had been arrested and charged and accused of molesting young girls in his own family, specifically his sisters. So when I confronted him about this, he gave me a very detailed, heartfelt story. He said, I was abused when I was a kid by my mother. I ran away from home when I was 16. About a year later, my mother started taking my sisters to a memory regression therapist, a hypnotherapist. And during hypnotherapy, they all suddenly remembered being raped by him. And so he was charged and arrested. And he said the only thing that saved him is that his lawyer believed him and requested a medical exam to be performed on all four of his young sisters. And that medical exam therefore proved that they were all still hymenated and therefore proved that he was innocent of supposedly raping them. Well, that turned out to be a lie. So, a few months ago, Rook went to visit a mutual friend of ours, a friend with 2 young daughters. One was barely legal, one was not legal. And he stayed with them for a week. And then he came straight home from that friend's house, packed his things, and left without saying a word after living with me, living off of me for 2.5 years. Packed his shit and left without saying a word to me, as if he was running. You know, I told him back when he told me the story about his past, I said, okay, I'll believe you. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I've heard of horror stories like that before. I've heard of things like that happening before. I've heard of people going to prison for things they're innocent of based on this so-called memory regression therapy hypnosis bullshit. I told him, I said, but if I ever find out there's any truth to it, if I ever find out you're a fucking pedophile, I will cut your balls off. Literally. I said, okay. So we agreed, okay. And I believed him and I trusted him. So 2 days after he packed his stuff and ran from my house, I get a phone call from that mutual friend. Where the fuck is Rook? He said. Where the fuck is that motherfucker? I got something to deal with him. And I'm just like, well, you know, strange. He just like took all his things and took off the other day without saying a word. Then he tells me that his 2 young daughters had come to him after Rook left and told them that not only had he perved on them and creeped on them the whole time he was there when nobody was looking, but he had also propositioned them with money for sexual favors. And I gotta say, it's a good thing he was gone from my house whenever I heard that. Otherwise, I'd probably be in jail. So when he left, he took all the money that we had sitting in the business account, which belonged to me, almost $9,000, stole that from me. He locked me out of the website. He locked me out of the YouTube channel. When I finally got his ass on the phone, I said, why are you doing this? His excuse was, because you've been cursing me. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? What do you mean I've been cursing you? I've done like dozens of rituals for you to like help you. And he said, no, the spirits told me you've been cursing me. And I'm like, since when? Since the first day I got there to your house. Like, well, anybody that practices ritual magic, especially black magic, baneful magic, knows that something like that is bullshit. No black magician would ever curse a person living under their own roof. Because if that person's bedroom burns down in the middle of the night, yeah, guess what? I'm burning my own house down too. Also, if you ever have physical contact with someone, like a handshake or a hug with somebody that you've placed a baneful curse against, then they will pass that curse back to you through physical contact. All right, so to me, that was an excuse for what he was doing. We then agreed that he would pay me the money that he had in the bank account, that he had taken from the business account, and that we would go our separate ways. Said that he would take down the website Lawless Metaphysics, and we would both clean cut and go our separate ways. Because after the report that our mutual friend had given me about the way he behaved with his young daughters, he was no longer welcome here in my house, and it would never benefit him to see me again. So I was extremely mad about that. All right, well, he never sent me that money that he took from the business account, and he did not take down the website Lawless Metaphysics that he locked me out of. Instead, he changed the name to the Crimson Hierophant, which quite frankly is the silliest name that I could ever think of. I could not think of a gayer name if I really tried for a website selling black magic than the Crimson Hierophant. And I don't mean gay in the sexy way. Like, no, that is M. Night Shyamalan douchey. Okay, that is douchey as fuck. So he changed the name of the website. He took my rituals off there, and then he renamed and repackaged several of my rituals and put them back on there. He took all the pictures of himself and Nicola off the website, changed the write-ups to say we no longer offer videos of our rituals or picture proof of our rituals because our practice has evolved and we want to keep it a secret. Then he turned off my email, my company email, jsgarrett6@gmail.com, that all my accounts were linked to, and I communicated with all my clients on that email address. He turned it off. He deactivated it. Then he obtained my client email lists, a list of all my clients, anyone who's ever bought a ritual from me that I send out mass emails to, and started sending them emails advertising 50% off on all rituals on the website. By the way, we no longer give you videos or pictures. All right, well, anybody that knows me or has followed me throughout the years knows that I have never ran a sale on any of my rituals. We've done sales on radionics machines, so that's totally different. If I gave 50% off on all my rituals, then I would be getting chargebacks from clients that didn't want to wait that long because I'd be booked out a year in advance. All right. So he did not do what we agreed on. That he would take down the website, we would dissolve it, and go on our separate ways. He did not pay me the money that he stole from me in the business account. And then he started sending my clients mass emails to a website renamed. If you type in Lawless Metaphysics, it comes up the Crimson Hierophant. He stole the domain name. And so the first thing you see when you go on this website is a bunch of positive reviews from my clients that state my name, J.S. Garrett. So when people see that, they think that they're booking a ritual from me. That's really the main reason I'm making this video, because it's extremely humiliating and embarrassing to admit that I was conned and taken advantage of when I'm supposed to be perceptive and have good intuition. The only excuse that I can make for myself is that I was taken advantage of at the lowest point in my life, and that I was dependent on someone else to not only help me with the technological aspect of my business, but I was just happy to have a friend here. I was just happy to have someone else living in my house to talk to, because I went through the worst heartbreak and the worst devastation that I ever dealt with in my life. So, still with that being said, there's no excuse for being fooled. So I started digging into this person's background. I did the responsible thing whenever I agreed to let him come live with me. I did a background check on him. Nothing came up. That's because I later found out that he had changed his name legally, not one, but 2 different times. Okay? So then I did a background check under his legal name, Kalen Rook Briggs. Guess what came up? Not 1, but 4 accounts of child molestation. Not just child molestation, but incestuous child molestation, which is to say he was accused of molesting his own sisters. He was not accused of raping them, he was accused of molesting them and forcing them to do sexual favors to him. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna track down his family. I'm gonna get a hold of his sisters, and I'm gonna ask them to tell me what the fuck actually happened back then, because this guy should be in prison, and he's not. So how the fuck is this? What's the deal here? What's the story here? So I did. I was actually able to get in touch with one of his siblings, and she told me everything. And it turned out that everything this person had ever told me about his past and background and that situation was a complete fucking lie. Not only that, but she had proof that it was complete fucking lies. There was never a medical exam performed. Everything he said was a lie. So I hung up the phone and I puked my guts out, because that meant that I had had an incestuous pedophile living in my house for 2.5 years, living under my fucking roof, sitting next to me on YouTube, making a name for themselves off my name, while I taught them my own personal brand of ritual magic. That's about the toughest pill I've ever had to swallow, and I still have not been able to swallow it. And to sit here and admit to my viewers and fans and clients that that is what happened is the most fucking embarrassing thing I've ever had to admit. So the woman that goes by the name Nicola on Facebook and on the former website known as Lawless Metaphysics that sold her products and oils. Same thing. She was a client that came to me and asked me to help her make a name for herself in this field. So she proved to me that her products worked and that her magic was solid. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll help you. You can be a part of this website. You can put your products and services on this website. It wasn't long before she contacted me and proposed a business proposition, a contract marriage, essentially. She said, you get rid of Rook. You kick him out of your house. You disassociate with him professionally. I'll move in with you with my 12-year-old special needs son. And we'll get married, and we'll be the new power couple in the occult, just like you and your ex were. I'll help you run the website. I'll help you do all the technical stuff. I'll fuck your brains out. You can fuck anybody else you want. We'll essentially do whatever we want to. This will be a professional contract marriage. All you got to do is kick your best friend out. So I thought about that for about 2 seconds. I'm like, okay, I'm going to kick my best friend out with nowhere to go and no money to support himself so that I can move in a 50-year-old ex-prostitute with a severe coke addiction and a special needs son. Yeah, that didn't sound like a very good deal to me. So I respectfully declined. I was like, look, we can work together. I'll help you out any way I can. But I'm not interested in a relationship with you, and I'm not interested in getting married or moving you into my house. By all means, if you need a place to stay, you're welcome here, and so is your son. But yeah, that's not gonna work for me. If I ever got remarried, it would be because I met like someone amazing. And there's really no incentive for a man to get married in America anymore, not with the way things are. So that pissed her off. She pretended to continue to be my friend. And then she switched gears and went after Rook. Started talking to him. Okay, that's cool. You guys have my blessing. So they concocted this scheme, this plan to cut me out of my own business and steal my client base. And that's exactly what they've done. That's exactly what they've attempted to do. Now, it's not going very well, or as well as they planned. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sending out 2 to 3 mass emails to my client base every week, advertising 50% off of all products and services. So I'll say to you, Rook and Nicola, like in all the years that you've known me, I don't know what possessed either one of you to think that you could pull this off and get away with it and that it would work out. I have no idea what possessed you to think that, but you're reaping the benefits of your bad decisions now. I was a good friend to both of you. I loved both of you, stuck up for both of you, and you both betrayed me for personal gain and no other reason. Rook, I told you whenever we talked about your past that if I found out if that was true, that I would have your balls. I make a promise, I keep it. And I'm not the worst person that's after you. It's time to change your name again. It's time to go back into hiding. It's time to bury your head in the sand and spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. For everyone that has fallen victim to this fraudulent website, Crimson Hierophant, I apologize to you. I apologize for vouching for these 2 people. I apologize for helping these 2 people make a name for themselves off of my name. I apologize to every single one of my clients that trusted them because I trusted them and vouched for them. When I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong, and trust me, it is not easy, but I have to be honest here. I got played for a fool. I got taken advantage of. I got ripped off. I got conned. I got swindled. And I am shamed and humiliated by that. But at least I can admit it. So I'm starting fresh, starting over, started a new website, jsgarrett.net, and I'm going to move forward, and it'll be a cold day in hell before I ever make friends with a client again or vouch for anybody's personal character again. So, the number one thing I'm trying to say here is that I am sorry. And I hope that the people watching, the people that have followed me over the years, the clients that I have a good working relationship with, won't hold it against me too harshly. I was taken advantage of at the lowest point of my life, and it's taken me years to get back to where I used to be. And if nothing else, that's a testimony to the difficulty of walking the left-hand path. It's not easy. You learn a lot of hard lessons. So, with all that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I am sorry for the mistakes I've made by vouching for people that were worthless, disgusting human beings. And I promise to be better in the future, better